Those of you that have seen some of my other videos might know we lost our Rottweiler back in October last year. Ever since, Gizmo has been lost and sticks to my side like a shadow. As I am building the business, I find myself in the workshop a lot more lately, and she is left in the house for long periods on her own, and I worry that this is not good for her. So I need to make it comfortable so she can spend some time with me while I work. The floor in the workshop is often cold, damp and covered in sawdust, so a raised dog bed seems to be the perfect solution. Before I go on to remove the grooves, I just wanted to quickly say that save the tongue offcuts. They come in really useful, and I explain why later. So to keep her as comfortable as possible, I've bought her one of these orthopedic bed mattresses. The dimensions are 45 centimetres by 60 centimetres by 9 centimetres deep. That's 17 3/4 by 23 5/8 by about 3 3/4 deep. Put a link to this mattress in the description below. If you do choose to buy through my link, you help support the channel and it doesn't cost you any more. So I'm going to cut the two side pieces to 46 centimetres. $64.8. So I think it's easiest from a top-down view to explain what's going on. You can see that the sides are sandwiched between the front and back, and all I'm going to do is recess screws at each side at the front and 2 at the back. They'll be plugged and cut off, and then I'm going to round over the front, having put some relief in there so she doesn't catch her feet when she jumps in. So hopefully you can see that. I've just used a lid of a pot just to add a bit of detailing to the design. Just going to cut this bit out on the bandsaw. If you don't have one, you could use a jigsaw. The beauty of using these boards is that they're pre-finished. Now you can actually leave them like that and that'll be absolutely fine. I'm going to take it off because I want the whole thing to be consistent with the finish when I apply it later, and obviously we've got bare edges where I've sanded and cut them, so I'm going to strip it back. One other thing I'll mention at this point is, do you remember I said about keeping the tongues? So we've got some holes where I've cut the relief, so you can use these tongues to sand them down so they fit in, and you only need to do a little bit on the edge because the rest of this is going to be covered by the dog bed. So I'll probably just sand them down, get them to fit in there, apply a little bit of glue, and then when I do the round over, you're not going to see that at all. It might just be a slight difference in colour. So off camera, I've done the round over where it needs doing, so it's on the front edge of the front piece and the inside edge of the other 3. I've cut the relief and obviously rounded that over. Every other edge has had the edge broken, so I've just run the sandpaper, coarse sandpaper along the edge, and that's all softened. I've got clamping squares on each of the 2 front corners, and I'm going to put 2 holes, one top, one bottom, on each side of the front. As I've only got 2 clamping squares at the moment, I'm going to then take them off the front, put them on the back, and do the same from the back, 2 holes either side. Glued and screwed. So I'll pre-drill first, take the clamps off, glue it, put the holes in, put the screws in, and attach the front, and then I'll do the back. And then once I've done that, I'll do the bottom. So I've got some 18mm ply, which is 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to rip this down into 3/4 of an inch widths. I'm going to do 4 of those. They're going to be fixed to the bottom of this part on the inside, and then a solid base will be put in on top of that. 1.5 inches off the bottom is a really nice fit for the mattress to sit flush almost to the top of this unit. I'd like to jump in here to say thanks. Firstly, for everybody that's subscribed, and secondly to Jeff for buying me a coffee. This gesture helps support the channel and allows me to continue to offer my plans and cut lists for free. So Jeff, thank you very much. Much appreciated. So I want the strips to fit nicely into here, and this particular part is too narrow to go right to the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cross members right to the end. So I need to take off the thickness of 2 of these from that back piece so that it will fit in nicely. So the first thing we'll do, measure this one and cut it. Lovely. So I'm going to cut a solid piece out of this base. There's only one corner that's square, and that's this one here. So I'm going to do all my referencing from here. So I'm going to undercut it slightly. That's 61 centimeters. So I'm going to make it 60.8. Truth. Lovely. Fits like a glove. I genuinely think that feet would take away from it rather than add to the build. So I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm going to apply a finish. When I come back, I'm going to talk about where I source the wood, how much I'm going to be charging for it, and what I think that we could do to add extra value and increase the price. So I have a very old tub of boiled linseed oil, and I'm going to apply that because I've done some tests on this oak and it looks absolutely stunning. So that's what we're going to apply. As far as the build goes, that's it. I'm going to talk about the costs, the pricing that I'm going to be looking at, and ways to add extra value. I'll start with the cost. I buy the oak from Facebook Marketplace, and I'm constantly looking every single day. I look for somebody either selling their old lifted solid oak floor or somebody that's got some left over from a newly fitted floor. If it's an old floor that's been lifted, I'll pay up to £1.50 for a board that's about 4 foot, maybe 5 foot tall. They are 150 millimeters wide and they're 18 millimeters thick. I only buy the solid wood. You don't want the engineered stuff. That's like an MDF base with a very thin oak veneer on top, so that's useless for projects like this. I recently bought 7.5 square meters of this and it cost me £4.25 for each board. The cost of this is 2 boards, so £8.50. I've used about £5 worth of ply and the bed was either £20 or £30. So I've done the whole thing for less than £45. And I'm going to be looking at a sale price of around £150 for it as it is. The upsell that I'll be looking to do is personalisation with a small plaque. On a laser or CNC, that'll be easy. Use a router to cut out a recess and then recess the plaque into the oak. I'm also going to do contrasting dowels, so I'm going to use mahogany dowels. And I'm going to put little flat square feet, or 3-inch square, a layer of oak, a thin layer of mahogany, and then another layer of oak. So that will add more accent to the feet, and obviously with the dowels that should look stunning. And I'll be charging £30 for the upgraded version of that. So that's about £180 or somewhere around $230, which I think is an absolute bargain. If you're looking for other pet related products to make, I have a dog feed station that I'll link just about here.